Okay, if you're watching this video back on replay, there's nobody in on the live at the moment, so I'm just going to hang fire just for a couple of seconds, wait for someone to be in, and then we'll get going. You right? Maybe 5 o'clock's not a good time. Maybe people are doing stuff, cooking dinner, whatever. No, we've gone a minute here with no viewers. Well, this is not going to plan. Why are you looking at me like I'm mental? So I'm talking to no one. I'm getting looks. Oh, hello. We have a viewer. Hello. Right. Welcome to the live stream. I'll get cracking. Basically, I just thought I'd go live because obviously this weekend was the first weekend without parkrun for thousands of years, and it's been like a bit of a weird Saturday morning. So I thought we'd just get on, chat about what have we all done with our Saturday mornings. Now we've got this spare time. What do we do instead? And yeah, just share some random stories. So I've got one person in, so don't forget to use the comments section or the chat section, whatever it's called, and leave some chat in there, and then we can have a little back and forth. And that's what really makes these live streams work. So please get involved with the chat. Yeah, so what did I do? Well, I got a bit of a lie in, stayed in bed a bit longer than normal, and then rather than do park run, I went to Tring Park where there is a park run usually, but I went at 9:30 just in case anybody thought I was trying to do park run, and I ran a different route, but I did 5k around that park because it's a really nice park. You can get out of the way of everybody else. You can observe this social distancing and go for a nice run. So that was how I coped this morning. What about you? Leave your comments in the chat. I'm just going to try and open the chat. So, what is it? Live chat? I don't know. I still haven't got the hang of this. All messages are visible. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay. So we've got 2 viewers in. So leave some comments in there and just tell me, how did you survive your Saturday morning without your park run? Because I was seeing on the parkrun website, they were saying obviously that it's not safe to go ahead with a large gathering of people due to the coronavirus, and that's absolutely fine. I totally get that. But then they put out like a plea saying, please don't go to your usual parkrun location and just run it anyway, even if it's an unofficial run, because people will get confused with it being parkrun. So I decided to go at 9:30 instead of 9 and go to Tring Park where there is a park run, but just kind of run on my own in that area for the new person because I was out of everybody's way, observing social distancing and all that kind of stuff. And if I was seeing dog walkers or whatever on my run today, I was giving them a wide berth, going around them. Apart from the dog that chased me and I couldn't outrun it, that got a bit close to me. But everyone else, I gave them a wide berth, and it was a bit weird because like you'd see people coming up ahead, and you were looking at them, they were looking at you. No one was really sure. Like, oh, what do we do? Do we go round? Do we talk? Do we even look at each other? It was strange. It was like a strange feeling, and I think that this whole coronavirus situation has just got people acting a bit weird, hasn't it? And yeah. So how did you cope? What did you do? Because I'm going to run out of content very quickly if people don't chat to me. I've got 3 people in. Come on, say something. Say hello at least. Well, whilst you're thinking what to put, I'll show you Dominique. Look what she's up to. We just got we prepared for self-isolation potentially by getting a new Nintendo Switch. So Dominique's playing Let's Go Evie and catching Pokemon over there. You caught any, darling?
Yes.
Good. Right. Oh, where's the chat? I don't know how to get this to work. I actually don't. I think it's that. Yeah, so I was saying it was a bit weird out there this morning, and I think it's been a bit weird in general this week, hasn't it? I mean, who's been down the supermarket this week? And tell me what it was like down your local supermarket, because I know what it's been like around mine. It's been crazy, absolutely mental. And has anybody managed to get some Dettol or some toilet roll or anything like that? Because that's like going out of fashion, I think, at the minute. You can't get it anywhere. But it's not really been good because I've seen lots of people like, well, I saw one old lady in the supermarket aisle for the cleaning products, and she was actually really upset because she's got an unwell husband at home. She was hoping to get some anti-bac stuff to help him out, obviously by cleaning up and make it as clean for him as possible and not add to his health issues, and she couldn't get any. So, she was really upset in that aisle, and the staff were like trying to help her, but she was saying, "Please, have you got anything out the back?" And they didn't. They didn't have anything out the back, and it's just chaos. So look after each other out there. Don't buy what you don't need, and just try and leave some for the people that might need it, because you never know who else is going to need it. Okay, so Pixel02, thanks for chipping in. I did my own parkrun by myself. It was great. There you go. So you got out there, you've done a run, you've been out in the fresh air and got some exercise in, which is good, and you've respected social distancing because you've done it on your own. So that's good to see, and I think that's the kind of thing we should be doing. I mean, the government advice is that if you've got one of two symptoms, a new and persistent cough is one, or a high temperature being the other, if you've got that and you live alone, self-isolate for 7 days. If you live with other people and you or someone else in your house has the symptoms, it's a 14-day isolation. And I guess that's in case, if I had it and then towards the end of the 7 days, another family member had it. If you're all in for 14, pretty much everyone's going to have had it and got over it, they hope, before you go back out. So obviously, if you're in self-isolation, then you should not be out running. Don't get me wrong. You've got to understand the difference between self-isolation and social distancing. So if you've got no symptoms and no one in your house has got symptoms, then you can go out and do stuff, but you've got to do this social distancing. So, for example, tomorrow it's Mother's Day. I would normally travel up to my parents and see my mum, and Dominique, we would see your mum, wouldn't we? But we're phoning them up and saying like, "Look, we can't come because we've got to do the social distancing." So we can, FaceTime or all that stuff. We can chat on the phone, but yeah, we're just not going to go and see them because we don't know. We're not displaying symptoms, but we could have it. And it takes a little bit of time to come out. I think it takes a couple of weeks, doesn't it? Is it 2 weeks, they're saying? It can take up to 2 weeks to show the symptoms. So if I've got it now, but I'm not showing symptoms, I go see my parents and infect them. And obviously they're elderly and everything. It's not good, is it? So if you've got the symptoms, self-isolate. But if you haven't, social distancing whilst you're out and about. So yeah, if you can do that on your runs, then that's great. Absolutely great. And I think... Sorry, I was just getting a bit distracted there. I think that's what you need to do, is give people a wide berth and stuff. So where did you go? Where was your local park run? You've obviously kept your distance and everything. But where was your local park run, Pixel? And I don't know if anyone did go against what parkrun wanted, and loads of people turned up at their local parkrun course anyway and ran it anyway. I don't know if that's happened anywhere. I've not seen anything online to say people have been doing that, which is good, because if I haven't seen that, good chances people have been respecting the social distancing and keeping each other safe, and that sort of thing. So Pixels, Scotland Troon. Okay, well, I mean, my vision of Scotland is that it's the middle of nowhere. It's the Highlands, and it's you don't see a soul for miles. So social distancing in that area of Scotland would be easy, I suppose. But then you have got some large cities and towns, haven't you, as well? So I guess it's not so easy in those areas. But I've never been to that park run, so if I'm up Scotland, I shall try and swing by. I think, what have I done in Scotland? I did Tollcross Park Run, when I was volunteering at the Commonwealth Games in 2014, because the Tollcross Swimming Centre, that's where I was volunteering. So during the games themselves, Tollcross Parkrun was actually off because the park was all sort of cordoned off for the games. But I'd gone up a few weeks ahead of it to do some training and stuff that I needed to do because I was working in anti-doping and you had to, know properly what you were doing. And I ran it, I ran it at the training. It was a nice little park run. And then I've done Elgin Park Run as well. I randomly had to go to Elgin for some work at one point. So, yeah, I found myself there on a Saturday of all days. Could have been any day, but I managed to go on a Saturday. I wonder why that was. So I did Elgin Park Run. So that's my two Scottish park runs I've done. And I want to go around Aberdeen because I used to be a parkrun ambassador, and Elaine, who was a parkrun ambassador, I used to see her at the annual conference, and she was always a good laugh. And she said that they've got really nice parkruns around Aberdeen. So, yeah, I might go up there one time. But then, who else has run this morning? Where did you run? Where did you go? And how did you survive not having a park run to go to at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning? Or 9:30? 9:30 in Scotland, actually, isn't it? So fair enough, we've got a Scottish one. The Rod Lamont. I ran 5k this morning, Leith, Edinburgh. Okay, that's cool. So you got out there, you've done a 5k and kept your Saturday morning routine going. So did you is that a park run course that you did? Or did you just run 5k somewhere different so that, you weren't seen to be trying to do park run? Like, how did you play it? We've got 6 people viewing now, so chip in, guys. Chip in with anything about what you did this morning and what's going on. Did your park run cancel, which I hope they did? Did people turn up anyway? Was there anything going on where people are trying to go against social distancing, or were people respecting it? Okay, so what have you all been doing in terms of just through the week? You've obviously doing jobs or whatever you're up to. What have you been doing at work that's different to try and keep the risk of coronavirus down? So in my office, for example, we've got this pull out. It's like a wall, I suppose. It's in sections, and you pull it out and twist all the sections, and you can build a partition across the office. And I've been in my office for well over a year now, and that has never, ever, ever been out. It's just all the partitions are just tucked away. And for the first time ever, we've pulled this thing out, and we've put it across. And what is quite a large office now feels really small because I'm sat behind this partition, and I'm at the sort of smaller end, if you like. And then also sometimes I have to travel around to different buildings within what I do, and I've been told not to go to other buildings and only stay at my own building where possible, not to go to them. Obviously it might become essential, but if it's avoidable, they want us to not do it. So there's been loads of little changes going on, and people, I don't know, people just a bit distracted, I suppose, from their jobs because there's so much going on with this coronavirus. Everyone's got apprehensions and fears and concerns about what it might mean for them, what it might mean for their kids, what it might mean for school closures, and family and elderly members. And then obviously we've got the schools closing this week. So we had, what is it, key workers. If you're a key worker, and one parent is a key worker, then the school should still take your child in for the normal schooling. But if you're not a key worker, you've got to have your kids at home. So I think obviously the obvious key workers is going to be all your sort of public sector, NHS, police, fire brigade, all the obvious stuff. But then I think like food delivery drivers will be key workers at this time. So if you're a Ocado or Tesco or whatever, and you're delivering food, you're gonna have your kids can still stay in school. So yeah, lots of changes, lots of differences going on to keep people safe and to keep social distancing going on. Rod's just commented again, saying, "Oh, it's not a park run he did. It was just in the local park." Okay, well that's good then. So nobody can obviously accuse you of trying to do park run. So I actually did go to Tring Park, which is a nice big open country park. there is a park run there, but I just ran a different route to the park run route. So if anybody was going to say, oh, you know, what you running, then it's not park run, it's something different, even though it's the same location. And I went half an hour later. You all right? Oh, Dominic, hang on. Dominic's just got to a new bit on Let's Go Evie, where the Evie now sits on her head rather than walking behind her. So this is an exciting moment, people. What's the professor saying to you now? He keeps bossing you around, giving you loads of instructions. He don't ever do anything himself, does he? He just stands there in his lab coat telling you what to do. Right, well, sorry, not that, you know, that was an advert or anything, but it's just a game we've bought to try and have something to do should we have to self-isolate. We don't have to at the moment. Nobody's got symptoms. So how are you all doing in terms of symptoms? Is there any of you self-isolating yet? Have you had symptoms? And if so, I hope you're okay and I hope you're well and getting through it. And how are you getting on? How are your families and that sort of thing? So let me know in the chat. Or equally, if you're not self-isolating and you're still getting out there, you're still running, you know, tell me what you're doing to cope with your running and manage it so that you are socially distancing from people, but, you know, obviously still getting your exercise in, because it's important, isn't it? At a time when people are ill, keeping healthy and fit is one way to actually combat an illness, isn't it? And not get ill potentially if you're fighting fit and strong and you're in good health. So it's important, and there are loads of people still running around my town anyway. Right, look, she's got to go out and catch more Pokemon now. You're gonna go and get some more?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, there's not much chat going on, guys. So if anybody's got anything they want to add, please do add it. Otherwise, I might have to wrap it up shortly. Oh, and Saturday Night Takeaway, we watched that. I don't know if any of you guys watch it, but they're not having a live audience tonight, so it's going to be done differently. I think it's just going to be an empty studio. I watched Question Time the other day, which is a politics program, and usually they have a live audience asking questions, and instead they had people like sending in video clips of their questions and stuff. So even like on TV and everything is changing. I went to, usually like on a Friday, there's a pub near where I work, and we would go there just for a quick drink after work on a Friday maybe. But yeah, we couldn't yesterday, it was shut. We went shopping the other day, didn't we? And we were going to go and, you know, cook some food at home. And we looked at there was a beef eater restaurant and it was empty, actually empty. And the staff were all in there doing nothing. And we were like, well, we then realised, you know what, restaurants might be closing down. So we went in and had a meal because we thought that might be our last meal out for a while, you know. And we were literally sat in a fairly empty pub. There's only like one or two other people came in by the end of our meal. But yeah, at least we got a meal in before everything shut. And now I scanned my loyalty card, and by the time I got home I had an email from Beefeater saying, just to let you know, all our restaurants will be closing as of Saturday. So yeah, there's lots of different things going on. Dash 71, hi, welcome, and thanks for commenting. So seems like you need some questions. So they're watching the athletics on TV. What's your earliest memory? What do you mean, like the earliest memory of my whole life? Let me know. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean my earliest memory of athletics? But what athletics is on? Is it Diamond League or something? Speaking of athletics, actually, also I saw a tweet from James Desiolu, who is I think that's how you say it. It's he's a 100-meter sprinter, and I think he's lost his British athletics funding or something because he's not quite ran the times this year and he's not qualified for things, and you know, I think he's been injured and he's sort of on a comeback. So he turned up at Loughborough University to train. That's where he trains, and there was a sign saying you're not allowed in. You're not allowed in unless you're a funded athlete, and if you come in, you're only allowed to bring one coach or something like that. So he was basically like, he is an elite runner, elite sprinter, and he was told he can't train. I mean, ridiculous if you think about it. But at the same time, it's not, because they're trying to keep it to the key athletes that right now are the ones that are performing out on the international stage, I guess. The ones that are getting the results and are going to potential for medals and all of that. They want to keep them safe, and unfortunately, the nature of athletics is that Desailly's not managing to run the times, so he doesn't get in. It's pretty sad to see, but. Right, what's my earliest memory of watching athletics on TV? So Dash says it's the 1500 metres in Moscow, 1980. Okay, so if memory serves, because I wasn't born in 1980, but if memory serves, that will be the year of Seb Coe versus Steve Ovett. And I think a lot of people boycotted that Olympics, didn't they? But yeah, that 1500 meters was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal race, and I think we were lucky because we obviously had two elites that were at the top of their game at the right time, going head to head for Olympic medals. What an exciting time that was for British athletics. And yeah, my dad, he was obviously around, and he's always talked fondly of the 1980 Olympics. And if you talk to him about Ovett and Co, guy, he would talk to you forever about it. He loves it. So. Yeah, what an Olympics. I think my earliest memory of athletics, so I was at school, I think I was at middle school, and I remember we went to watch some athletics meet, like, I don't know what it was. It was called something like Europa or something, I can't remember now. But anyway, it was in Britain somewhere, and we went along. And I remember Linford Christie was competing at the time, and he was on like a warm-up track, so we were like in a sort of stadium, but we were coming out to go to the warm-up track to try and get some autographs and stuff. And I wasn't really like madly into athletics then, but it was a school thing, so I went. And yeah, we were all there, and Linford, can you sign this, whatever we had, can you sign this? And I remember he was quite rude, actually. He was just like, no, 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 and off he went. And I remember thinking, well, he was a bit out of order. But then with hindsight, if he was on his way to go and compete or whatever, he was in the zone, and he wanted to obviously just stay in the zone and not be distracted and all that stuff. So I could see why he was like that with hindsight. But as a teenage kid, like I was probably about 13, I was like, oh, what a knob, he won't sign my thing, because that's all I really cared about at the time, I guess. But yeah, that's what I remember that from athletics. And then I remember, was it Barcelona? It would have been Barcelona, was it 92 potentially? I think it was the Barcelona Olympics and the Atlanta 96 Olympics. I remember those two quite clearly because that's when Michael Johnson was dominated in the 400, and that was my event at school. I used to run for the school team. I ran at town level, and I qualified to the county level. At the time, I think I was running around 55, 56 seconds for 400. I mean, I was a 15-year-old kid, so I had a lot of speed in me at the time, but couldn't run that now. But yeah, I won the town championships, and I came fourth at county. So if I'd have come third, I would have advanced to English schools, but I didn't quite do it. So, but yeah, I remember Ewan Thomas and Michael Johnson and Jamie Bolsh. What was his name? Was it Roger Black, the 400 runner? Yeah, Roger Black. So they were all out running, competing for medals and stuff, and they were like my athletics heroes at school. So yeah. That's my kind of memories of that. Right, Dominic, hello. Thanks for joining. If you've got a question, or if you want to talk about what you were doing this week to get through your park run Saturday morning without park run, or anything else you've been doing to help yourself and keep safe during the coronavirus outbreak, just let us know. So I was talking about things I've done at my workplace earlier, so if there's anything changed in your work, let me know. Yeah, so what else? Oh yeah, so I spoke to a person that I know that works in a supermarket. I'm not going to say which supermarket or anything, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But they explained that they've effectively doubled their take-ins in the supermarket as to what they would have expected to have done. So normally, they know each week throughout the year that Christmas is going to be a busy week, isn't it? And they're going to get a lot more money, so they predict that. But this particular week, the predictions are not going to be as high as they are. Hi, hey Andy, FOD runner, he's waving. And basically they've taken double money, so they need more staff, and they've been recruiting people literally within a day. And normally the recruitment process, they'd advertise a job, everyone would apply, they'd be interviewed, and all of that. They've binned all that. They just need people right now. So if you are like being made redundant, or you're having to go home because your workplace is shut and you're potentially still employed but not receiving pay, maybe, and you've got a few weeks where you're going to be like that, get yourself down to supermarkets, because they're looking for people. I guess it's all going to be very temporary contracts whilst this madness continues, but you might be able to have that job just temporarily, and it might boost your income and help tide you over through this period if you're struggling with income because of that. I mean, some people are lucky. I'm lucky. I'm still getting my income, but I know not everyone is. So yeah, it's something to think about, isn't it? Dominic, I was revising 100 mile an hour for my GCSEs, and now it's cancelled. So now it feels weird. Yeah, that's another sort of can of worm that's come out of this, isn't it, Dominic? Because you would have been, well, you spent years preparing for them, and there you are. You've suddenly been told the date that you were working towards has been pulled out from under you, and that's a bit disconcerting. And it obviously just gets a bit confusing, and you get a bit anxious, and there'll be some worry around it. But what I would say to you is that they're going to come up with some way or another for you to sit those GCSEs, or get your qualifications. I was listening on the news to Boris Johnson. I don't know if you follow the news, mate, but it's worth following it when you get to crisis points like this, because then you know what's going on. But Boris was saying that, basically he doesn't know how this is going to happen, because of course it's just happened. It's all a bit unexpected, and no one's really got any firm plans. But he knows that you will get your qualifications somehow, and they're going to figure it out. So just stand by on that, have some patience, keep your head in the books, keep studying, because you might as well, all the information that you've studied for and all the hard work you've done, it's not going to evaporate from your brain overnight. And if you just keep working at it and keep topping it up and just keeping yourself in a strong position for those exams, when they come round, you should be smashing them, and you'll be ready for them. The worst thing you could do is go, well, I'll stop revising then because I don't know what's going to happen and my future's uncertain. That'd be a mistake in my view, because you would then probably be in a strong position right now because you've been working towards exam dates. Yeah, don't rip up your... He's not ripping up his revision notes just yet. He's just said, good lad. Yeah, just keep studying, because you can only get yourself in a stronger position. So it's worth doing. Andy, the FOD runner, how you doing, mate? He's saying, did I run this morning? Yeah, I did. I was saying a bit earlier in the stream, mate, before you jumped in. Basically, I went to Tring Park because it's a nice open park. You can run there and keep out of people's way. So you're respecting social distancing. And I didn't run the Tring Park run route. I ran a different route around the park. It was 5k, and I did it at 9:30, not 9, so it wouldn't be perceived as a attempt to run park run and all that, because I didn't want to obviously go against what park run were asking people to do. And actually there was no other runners there that I saw. Tell a lie, there was one guy, but he was running with a dog, so I think he was just out walking his dog. There was a few dog walkers and a few people just going on a walk, basically. So yeah, it was quite a nice run. What about you, mate? What have you done today? Have you run? Yeah, cheer. Yeah, Andy says, well done. That's good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, what about you, Andy? Did you run? What have you been up to? Let everyone know. Okay, Dash 71. Are there any other sports you are really into? Sorry, Dash. I'll come back to that, because I've just seen Dominic said they can't get us to sit GCSEs later in the summer because the academic year starts in September, and surely they're not going to be able to mark the exams so quickly. Yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, time is everything scheduled through the year, isn't it? And when things are flowing naturally, this happens then, this happens then, this happens then. But there's so much stuff now that's not going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And I don't think people have a contingency plan for this kind of thing, because it's just kind of unprecedented, never happened. I think it's just people are going to be winging it. I've heard one suggestion is, maybe whatever your predicted grades were, you'll just be awarded those grades. I could see some sense in that, because it would remove all those issues you were saying just then about timing and stuff. And they could just give people their predicted grades. But the problem is you say you're predicted a B, but on the day you just, you had an absolute blinder and you smashed it and you scored an A. Well, you're not going to have that opportunity to improve that predicted grade, because predictions are just predictions. They're not going to be borne out 100% for everybody. But equally, you might get somebody, oh well, I'm predicted a B, I'll get a B. But on the day they might have had an absolute shocker and would have got a D or something. So those people will be loving it. But it's not a perfect way to do it, but it might be a way, because like you say, there's no smooth answer to that. So, but just, like I say, just keep studying, because you don't know if the exams suddenly they go, right, we've got a new date for exams, you're going to be ready to go, and that's where you want to be. You want to be poised and ready to go. It'd be a bit like if you're training for a run and then it suddenly gets moved, you're going to keep training, aren't you? Because you want to run and you want to be ready to run whenever that day comes. Okay, so just going back to what you said, are there any other sports that I'm really into? Not particularly, actually. I don't follow football at all, like club football or on week to week and that. I'm not really that bothered. But when it's the World Cup, absolutely love the World Cup, because it's a bit like, for me, it's a bit like watching the Olympics, isn't it? It comes around every 4 years. It's a big event. And I usually calm my running down a bit and have a few beers during the World Cup with some mates and stuff. So I do enjoy the World Cup, and I enjoy watching Wimbledon every year. But again, I wouldn't necessarily go and watch tennis all year round. It's just, it's Wimbledon. It's in the UK. I've tried to get tickets for Wimbledon a couple of times, and I'd love to get down there one year. I did get tickets one year, but it was on some minor court to watch some doubles tennis, and I was a bit like, I do like Wimbledon, but what you see on telly is going to be centre court, court one. It's all the single stuff, and that's kind of what I like watching. So I thought, yeah, I'll wait until I get tickets for that, and then I'll go to that. And then, yeah, just generally athletics. I quite enjoy athletics. I've been to Olympic Stadium a few times. I've watched the anniversary games in the stadium. Obviously, I've volunteered up at Glasgow at the swimming. I wasn't too bothered about swimming, but it was a good experience to work there and get to watch some live swimming. And actually, it's quite exciting when you get into it. So I've watched a bit more of that on TV since I did that. But yeah, I don't play any of the sports. I'm not a member of a gym or anything like that. I just enjoy running, to be honest. And I think there's so much you can do within running, different sessions. It keeps it varied, and it keeps me going on just that alone, really. Karma Yogi, sorry for being late. No worries, mate. It's never too late to lob a question in, and they're right on cue. You have so. You're reasonably happy because you got a PB last Sunday at the MK half, except for the fact you blew up on the last hill and finished at 150 when you were heading for 147. The last hill hit me. I know that hill. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think it's Campbell Park, isn't it? You go through Campbell Park and, oh, mate, that is a belter of a hill. So it gets a lot of people. I remember it got me, yeah, there you go. She said yes, Campbell Park. It got me when I did it a few years ago. I was the same. I was on for like probably PBing by a minute, and then I ended up running similar time to what my PB was, and I was certain if that was a flat finish, I would have PB'd that day. But yeah, it's good that the Milton Keynes half went ahead, because that's pretty much the last weekend. Like I say, like parkrun went ahead that weekend as well. It's the last weekend before everything gets closed down and the government are starting to impose more stringent guidelines on us about what we can't do, and places that can be open or not, and places that can operate or not. So it's good that it went ahead, and I know a load of people enjoyed it. It's a bit of a last hurrah, wasn't it, before we go into sort of shutdown. But yeah, the London Landmarks was meant to be tomorrow. I was meant to be doing that. They've sent out the T-shirts and the bibs and all the race packs anyway, and then I've had an email to say, hang on to your race packs and keep it safe, because if we can secure a different date, then we will go ahead at a different time, and you'll need your bib and everything. But they've also, which I think is quite clever, they've said a bit of a virtual run instead can be done. It's going to be called Local Landmarks Half Marathon. So the idea, you go out, you run your half around your local area, but you go around all your local landmarks, and every town's got quirky little landmarks, hasn't it, that is unique to that town. So what my plan is tomorrow is to go out and do a run, and I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to make a video of my local landmarks, and actually showcase a bit of what's around here, so you can see that. So yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, hopefully, if all goes to plan. But yeah, well done on getting a PB anyway, mate, because even 150, that's an amazing time. So, and you've got it in your legs to maybe go a bit quicker then if you get a flat course. So just trying to think of a decent autumn, decent autumn. I think Ealing is an autumn one, and that's a good one. That's pretty flat, so you could have a look at Ealing for after this crisis is over, hopefully. Has anyone else got any decent autumn half marathon courses that are going to be good for a PB effort? Get them in the comments and let Karma know about it. See you later, Dominic. He's off. Take it easy, mate. Thanks for watching. Yeah, and Dominic, just before he said he was going, he said the more people that self-isolate sooner, we're going to get back to normal life. And yeah, I mean, I guess if you self-isolate, the idea is we're not infecting people at a rapid rate, and it's to keep it sort of spread out. But I think there's going to come a point when they say, right, we're ready now. The NHS is ready. We've got the equipment we need, and then the rate of infection will be allowed to speed up. And I think the tactic is to go for this herd immunity, where if enough people get infected and develop an immunity, then we won't have this issue again with outbreaks. But that's what I understand from what I've heard on the news, and I could be wrong because I'm not a doctor. I'm not medically qualified, so don't take that as gospel. But yeah, that's kind of what I understood they were doing. Karma said, on the topic of prediction, do you think I could get a sub-4 marathon off of a 150 half? I'll tell you who, Andy, if you're still watching, you're the man for that question, because you actually know more about that kind of stuff than I do, I think. So get a comment in there for Karma. And if Andy doesn't drop a comment in for the next few minutes and he's gone, then I'll tell you what I think about it. She's done Ealing last year. Yeah, so you know the course. That's a good one. And you have Manchester Marathon due in the autumn. Yeah, so Manchester, basically they have the half marathon they do goes on the 11th of October anyway this year. Was that a cough? You got coronavirus. Every time she coughs, I say that to her. No, she's got a different cold, so that's been bothering her for a while. It's not a new cough. But yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, Manchester, 11th of October, they have the half. And they've moved the marathon from April to the same day as the half. I'm not quite sure how that's all going to work, but they've said there's going to be different start lines and things. I'm sure they're going to have a plan in place for that to go smoothly. So for me, what that means is I can't do the Manchester Marathon now because the 11th of October is the same day as Chicago, and I've already got a bib in Chicago. I've paid for my flights and all that. Assuming that Chicago goes ahead, then I'll be doing that. So I'm going to have to defer my Manchester place till next spring, 2021, but they're charging £10 administration fee for deferrals. But if you don't defer and you run in the October, you just, you've got your bib and you just run. So that's quite good. Mr. Rod Lamont says, forget the landmarks. You could do a half marathon here looking for toilet rolls. That's brilliant. That's so true as well. I mean, have you been doing the same as me? Because I've been whizzing around in the car and I've been going Tesco's, Asda's, Aldi, whatever, and then even when I've been at work, sometimes I'm out on the road, so I've been like, oh, there's a little corner shop like a McColl's or a small co-op or a Sainsbury's local. I'll try that, and it's the same story everywhere, isn't it? Yeah, and paracetamol's, Karma. You're dead right. And the other thing is alcohol. Yesterday, it's Friday night. All the pubs are shut, and Dominic wanted to have a friend round, and we thought we'd get a couple of drinks in. So we just went down the alcohol aisle. There was nothing. It had been decimated. So I just take the view that this is the apocalypse. Let's get drunk. And that's how the British people deal with things. But on the same token, though, I'm really getting to see what it is people don't want. So in one supermarket, there was tins and tins of mushy peas all stacked up. No one had touched the mushy peas. So Are you a fan of mushy peas? Who buys mushy peas? I don't even know. Clearly nobody buys them from that. But what else have we? What else have you seen that's missing from supermarket shelves? What other madness is going on? My daughter's come in the room now. Are you all right?
Yes.
What are you up to?
Fiddling with this.
You got a wristband. Oh, is that the one you made at school the other day?
Dad made it for me.
Someone made it for you.
Who?
Dad
Someone.
Oh,
made it
someone.
for
Someone.
Sorry.
A friend.
Sorry.
That's all right. Well, that's nice.
Yes.
What time is it now? Right, it is 20 to 6. You want to watch Hunted, don't you? Oh, God. Right, what have we got? So Karma's noticed that sweetened packets of beetroots, nobody picks up a single packet. Well, that surprises me.
Really?
Yeah, because runners love a bit of beetroot. It's an antioxidant, isn't it, or something? It's good for recovery and reducing inflammation and all that stuff. Well, there you go. Right, so if we run out of ibuprofen, at least we can get a ton of beetroots to get the same effect.
My dad was being absolutely stupid in Lidl.
What was I doing in Lidl?
You grabbed all the flamingos and said, "Quick, before they run out!"
That's right. So there was these big metal flamingos that you would put in your garden. So I was picking up 4 or 5 boxes of them. I was running up to Dominique with a trolley, going, "Quick, get them in the trolley before anyone else buys them." And I was running around going, "They're my flamingos." Just like generally being a moron, mocking the whole situation as I do. And yeah, little one was quite embarrassed by me, but you know, that's what dads are for. Got to embarrass your little ones, haven't you?
How do I come out of it?
Oh, can I have some of your Hershey's chocolate?
I gave you some earlier. You
There's-
said you only wanted one piece.
It's a bit of a thing because once she had a bar of Hershey's and she didn't eat it and put it in the fridge. She went to bed and in the morning it was gone. Somebody had eaten it. I don't know who it was. I still don't know who it was, but
Him.
yeah. But yeah, so I had the other day we were in the supermarket and she comes up with this Hershey's. She goes, "Dad, this is getting bought because you ate my Hershey's like 3 months ago." She's never forgotten. Right.
Can't be it because he keeps eating them.
So till when do we think that this isolation is going to continue? Karma's asked, and that's a bit of a how long is a piece of string question because it's all a bit up in the air, isn't it? I don't think anybody knows how fast it's all going to go, or if it's going to slow down, or you know, really what is the plan? What is the master plan of the government as to how they're going to handle this?
Just press
I just don't know. So it's difficult to say. I mean, I'd like to think it's not too long because I think we can sustain it for a bit, but generally the economy is going to be damaged, isn't it, if this goes on too long? And we've already seen the pound has dropped to its lowest point since the 80s when there was some sort of financial crash or something. So that's obviously not a good sign. But America are a little bit behind us with this curve of infections. So although the dollar's remaining a bit stronger against us, I think when they get to the same point we are, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's all a very fragile thing, the economy, and I'm hoping we don't have to stay like this too long. So, right, I think we've getting... Karma loves beetroot for smoothies. Yeah, that's a good shout. You got a smoothie maker, haven't you?
Yeah.
You going to make me a beetroot smoothie?
You're not putting beetroots in my
Why can't I put beetroots in your smoothie maker?
Because I hate beetroots.
Will it not? Will it stain it?
I don't know, not chancing it.
Not chancing it.
Mama's.
Right, well, thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. And I think we've had a good chat about surviving Saturday with no park run. We've talked about coronavirus in general and all what's going on. So thanks for getting involved. And as always, if you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos and more live streams. And I guess I'll see you all on the next one, which hopefully will be tomorrow. As I said, I'm going to try and do my local landmarks half marathon instead of going to London and do a little video about it. So yeah, well done for keeping the live chat going and keeping us sane. Yeah, well that's it, Karma. We're all stuck indoors, aren't we? So we can't physically get together, so we might as well have a little chat on here. So thanks for joining in, everybody.
Smite says goodbye.
Yeah, the cat says goodbye.
Why do you smile?
And I'll see you all later. Take it easy.